ביאור משנה ד' משנה זו מוסיפה לדון בנר שבת. We're going to continue discussing a candle of Shabbos. והיא באה ללמד, it comes to teach us, שאסור לסדר את הנר, you're not allowed to prepare the candle, באופן שיהיה מקום לחשוש, in a manner that we're going to be worried, שמא ייטול מן השמן בשבת ונמצא גורם להחשת כיבוי הנר. Maybe you're going to take from the oil on Shabbat, and by that you're going to come to extinguish the candle. שדינו כמכבה, because then it's going to be like extinguishing.
You can take the oil from the candle.
That's right. Let's explain this. In our day and age, we don't have these concepts, but let's remember what was it was a jug that it was filled with oil, and then you had a wick that you put in one end and you used to light it. And it used to be where? On the Shabbos table, because that's where you eat. So it used to be right on the table. So on a regular day, what would you do? You have your food, you have your things. What happens if you want to take the something, you don't have enough oil on your thing, so you're going to take your finger, you're going to put it in the oil, and you're going to put it in your food, because the oil is right there. You're not going to go to the cabinet to go and bring the oil from over there when it's right over here. Now, we're not going to worry about it on Shabbat, on a regular Shabbat, that you're going to do such a thing. Why we're not going to be worried about it? It looks like that the candle was all black and sati and disgusting.
What?
People didn't use it for food. Okay? But you can make it in such a way that people would. And that's what we're worried about. So let's look inside. Lo yikov adam, a person should not make a hole, lo yinakev shforferet shel ביצה. He should take an eggshell, הקליפה הקשה העליונה, וימלאנה שמן ויתננה על פי הנר. And he's going to fill it with oil, and he's going to put it on the top of the candle. So let's see what did they used to do. There was, yeah, the idea was you want
to get extra time for the candle.
Excellent.
If it's 10 hours, if it's 2 hours, I want it 4 hours.
That's right. So you put another container on top, and you put oil on side, and you put a small little hole, and it drips, plink, 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 and now it adds oil constantly into the system. Right. But now comes the problem that the top, you see the oil right there, it's not salty, it's not nice. So it says, now we're worried. You know what you're going to be doing now? You're going to take from this oil, and you're going to add it to your food. So it says, so what's the problem? From the top, from the top container. So it says, what's the problem? So let's think about what's the problem. If it was enough oil in the top container and in the bottom container to burn for 4 hours, and now you took a little bit of the oil, you just caused it to only burn for 3 hours and 50 minutes. But is it direct? That's the question. It's not direct. Maybe you're allowed to, maybe you're not allowed to, so let's continue. But nevertheless, we're not allowed to do that. Maybe it's because you're breaking Shabbat really. Maybe it's not because you were breaking Shabbat really. We're not sure yet. Shema v'yitnan al pi haner be'erev Shabbat. Bishvil sheteh menatefet. Why you do it? So that it will drip inside. Tipa tipa, drop by drop, min hashemen letoch haner, from the oil into the candle. Sho'il v'ashforferet hi kli b'fnei atzma. Because this eggshell is a vessel on its own, ve'eina mechuberet laner, and it's not connected to the candle. חוששים שמא ייטול בשבת מן השמן שבשפופרת. You're worried that he's going to take from the oil on Shabbat, from the oil that it is in the top part. Why? So here comes the problem. The truth is, maybe you're not breaking Shabbat.
איך יכול להיות מכבה בשבת?
If you're taking from the vessel inside the oil itself out, are you מכבה?
לא.
It was going to be burning for 3 hours, now it's going to burn for only 2 hours. You took the oil away.
אתה לא מכבה, הוא מקצר.
Which means you're going to make it extinguish earlier.
Earlier, yeah.
So that's a melacha, is it? So we're going to learn, it is a melacha of Shabbos. So the question over here, is it a melacha? Because it says, maybe it's not a melacha because it's not connected. It's a different container. and it comes drip, drip. In other words, if it was continuous drawn, it's one vessel. But over here, it's not continuous. It's drip, and then it's not connected. It's another drip, and then it's not connected. I can just take it and move it. I'm not doing anything. Yeah, so that's what they say. But it says no. Because in your mind, all the oil that was in the beitzah, that was in the eggshell, in your mind, it was muktzeh for Shabbos. What does muktzeh mean? You designated it for the candle. It was designated in your mind for the candle. So because you designated something for the candle, and I don't care if you thought about using it, the use of it is designated from the candle, yeah? Now you're not allowed to use it for another purpose.
Make the candle light.
That's, in other words, you're not breaking Shabbat directly, it's on a melacha, it's dinei muktzeh. We have a problem with muktzeh. But if you take the container itself, from the lower container, you're breaking Shabbat. It's a different in...
Why would you break Shabbat on the lower?
Because you make it is bekatzer et hazeu. Over here... Yeah, but over here it's not connected. You can say it's a different... If it will be connected, but it's drip, drip, drip. Yeah? So maybe you could say it's a secondary thing. Okay? שהוא מוקצה לנר והתחייב משום מכבה בשבת. So there's over here it says it's the same thing almost. You can argue even, not just because if it was muktzeh, you can, it's interesting to go and look in the Gemara. It's probably machloket of what's the issue. Is the issue mechabe, or the issue is because you designated it? Or maybe because you designated it for only the candle, it's called mechaber. Because you designated it. Maybe that's the reason. Afilu, okay, now, usually, how would you know if it's disgusting or not? Usually the candle would be made out of clay. And the clay, it's considered the clay vessels, if it becomes a candle, that will be disgusting. If it would be another vessel, it's not disgusting, you might use it. And over here, you will be worried you're going to use it for your food. Okay. The clay candle, you're not going to use. So it says, so I'm going to be smart. I'm going to make this container out of clay, and then it's going to be the same material as the
top and the bottom.
As the top and the bottom, and then I'll be able to use it because it's disgusting. It's the same.
But it's one vessel in a way.
It's not one vessel. It's going to be two vessels, but out of clay. Out of clay. Afilu hi shel cheres, even though it's made out of clay. ואפילו השפופרת עשויה מחרס, even if the second container is made out of clay, שהיא מאוסה, that is considered to be disgusting and usually people don't use it, ואין רגילים להשתמש בה, מכל מקום גזרו חכמים שמא ייקח בשבת מהשמן שבתוכה. Nevertheless, the sages says, if it's two containers, if it's two things, there's going to be a decree that you're not going to, because we're afraid you're going to take from it. ורבי יהודה מתיר. Rabbi Yehuda permits it. Now over here, again we have this, it looks like according to Rabbi Yehuda, you're not doing a melacha of Shabbos. Let's see how. לתת שפופרת נקובה על פי הנר, to put a hold container on the mouth of a candle, ולמלאה שמן בערב שבת, כדי שיהיה מנטפת, and to fill it with, before Shabbat, so that it will drip. שאינו חושש שמא ייטול ממנה שמן בשבת, because I'm not worried people are going to take from it שמן בשבת, מאחר שהוא רואה את השמן מטפטף על הנר שמתחתיו. You're going to see that it belongs to it. It's not just a container, you see that it's connected. אבל אם חיברה היוצר מתחילה, but if it's according to everybody, if the two things are connected, they're one piece, שחיבר את האומן, את השופרת ומטפטפת עם הנר שתחתיה, if it's one piece, everybody says it is mutar, it is permitted. אף לדעת הנקמה למלא את השופרת שמן בערב שבת, בשביל שתיים שנטפת. Not because Rabbi Yehuda מתיר, because he says you're not coming to do a melacha of Shabbat. Rabbi Yehuda admits that you're making a melacha of Shabbat. He says you're just not going to do it. Just like you're not going to do it from the container itself, you're not going to do it from the top container. Says, I'm not worried that you're going to take the oil.
אבל I don't understand למה מותר. If the guy will take, you take from Ner Shabbat.
He says nobody's going to do it. You can see that it's connected. You can see that it's one. You see, it's part of the candle. He says, and everybody knows it's part of the candle. Yeah.
Well, you can't take it in Shabbos, can
No, you're not allowed to.
you? You're not allowed.
But he says you're not going to. He's not worried that you might.
Oh, because it's one vessel. Okay.
Even if Rabbi Yehuda says, even if it's not one vessel, you're not going to,
Yeah,
because
but
you can see that it's dripping. He says, אחר כך, it says, according to everyone, if it's one vessel, everybody admits that it's not.
It's permitted.
It's permitted, yeah. מפני שהוא כלי אחד, because it is one vessel. שהכל נחשב כנר שבת. Everything is considered like the candle of Shabbat. ואין חשש שמא שישתמש בשמן שבשופרת. And nobody is worried that you're going to come use the oil. בגמרא אמרו, in the Gemara says, שהוא הדין אם חיברה בעל הבית עצמו בסיד או בחרסית בערב שבת, שזה מותר. And that means any connection, even if there were two different vessels, as long as you can see that they're connected, you're fine. ולא now we come to a different things. That's an interesting one. So you have this container, right? And we said a drip from above. It drips, plonk, plonk, plonk. Now we have a different thing. You have a container over here with the oil inside and the wick, but you want to elongate it. So you're going to take another cup of oil and you're going to put it next to it, and you're going to take a wick from this cup of oil, and you're going to make it come into this one. Yeah. So now the question is going to be, are you worried that you're going to use the oil in this cup during Shabbat or not?
No.
It gets sucked. So a person might, but we're not worried about the sucking. The sucking is allowed. The problem is, would you use the oil from over here? Are we worried that you're going to use the oil from here? So that's it. לא ימלא אדם את הקערה שמן ויתננה בצד הנר. A person is not allowed to put another vessel with oil and he's going to put it in the side of the candle בערב שבת, before Shabbat, וייתן ראש הפתילה בתוכה, and he's going to give another wick inside of it. היינו ראשה השני שאינו דולק, which means the wick that doesn't burn, in order to draw water from this vessel into the main candle. בשביל שתהיה שואבת, so that it will suck it. שתהיה הפתילה שואבת את השמן שבקערה. So that this wick is going to draw in the oil in the cup, והשמן נמשך דרך הפתילה לראשה הדולק. And then you're going to have extra oil, an extra oil container. ואסרו חכמים דבר זה, and obviously the sages are not going to allow you, מאותו הטעם שביארנו ברישה, from the same reason. גזירה שמא ייטול בשבת מהשמן שבקערה. It's a decree. Maybe you're going to come to take from this oil, and then you're going to be mechabe. You're going to be extinguishing the light earlier. ורבי יהודה מותר. And again, Rabbi Yehuda says, you're not worried. גם בזה אינו חושש שמא ישתמשו בשבת. Also in this, he's not worried. He said, no, people can see that it's connected. They're not going to come to use it. והלכה כחכמים, דלא יזלק חכמים. What does it mean? That if it's two containers, you're not allowed to. But if it's one container, you are allowed connected. To. So if these two containers will be attached, it looks like Chachamim will allow you also. Doesn't matter from the side. But if it's two different containers, Chachamim says forget about it. בגמרא מבואר שמשנתנו נוקסת אפילו היא של חרס, that our Mishnah says even if it's made of clay, beforehand when we say about the eggshell, להשמיע רבות על דעת חכמים, to tell us an addition according to the opinion of the sages, שאף בשפופרת של חרס, that even if the second container is made of clay, גוזרים הם שמא ייקח מהשמן שבה. They still make a decree, lest you're going to take from the oil that's inside of it, even though it's disgusting, usually clay. ולא ימלא אדם את הקערה שמן. It says a person should not fill the second vessel out of oil. להשמיענו רבות על דעת רבי יהודה, to tell us something else according to the opinion of רבי יהודה. שאף על פי שיש הפסק בין הקערה לנר, that even though there's a space between the second jar to the candle, אינו חושש שמא יסתפק בשבת משמנה. he's really lenient. Because according to Rabbi Yehuda, it's very strange. According to Rabbi Yehuda, you have the candle over here and you have the other container over here. As long as there's a wick, he says, no, if there's a wick, you don't have to worry about it.
You're going to use the oil.
You don't. He says, it's connected, people will see it's connected, I'm not worried you're going to come use it. As long as there's a wick in between, you can see, people can see the wick, you're fine. Maybe we'll say if the wick goes under the table, you don't see it, maybe he's going to say, oh, now we have a problem. But as long as the people can see the wick, he says, I'm not worried about it. Okay. Up to here.